Okay, last video for the night, I think. Anyways, the old Coot here coming at you with another exciting video. Let's do a Cola Amari flight. What would that look like? And also, specifically, I'm trying to focus on the Lazzaroni here. By the way, not sponsored by any of these companies or San Pellegrino. This is April 2024. But if any one of these companies wants to reach out to me and talk about partnerships and sponsorships and all that, hey, I'm all for it. Because I hardly ever see these in any videos like anywhere else. So that's why I try to focus at least this playlist of libations in Italian, bitter, Amaro, and Amari on this channel because I hardly ever see them. And I figured, hey, somebody else might want to see them too. If you're a bartender and you're looking at replacing like the vermouth in some of your drinks, like, you know, black Manhattan, all that kind of stuff, please give these a consideration besides just, you know, Aperol and Campari and that kind of stuff. And then there's nothing wrong with Aperol and Campari, by the way. They haven't reached out to me either, but if they want to, I'm all for it. What I'm trying to get at here is the purpose of this video is I wanted to show everybody what a potential flight of Amari would look like, right? Amari plural, Amaro singular. But these specifically kind of have that cola forward profile. Okay, if you were a child or even an adult and you tasted Kinoto, right? Kinoto is the myrtle leaf orange. It kind of has that kind of vibe to it where it's like unsweetened root beer, unsweetened Pepsi, like unsweetened cola. It's that kind of vibe. Some are sweeter than others. Some are more well balanced. So let's get into that. So coming from Tempest Fugit, right? This is Gran Classico. This one happens to be, what was it? 28% alcohol by volume. This one is very, it's got a lot of cola. It's got a lot of spice. There's like notes, just very subtle notes of orange blossom, but there's definitely cinnamon, clove, cardamom, allspice in here, but it's definitely a cola forward product. So unsweetened root beer, that kind of vibe. Okay, now you start getting into the Amaro CioCiaro. I think that's how you pronounce that. What you're getting here is you're getting more orange, right? It's kind of like if I had, I've done videos on Montenegro before, but if you kind of had like Montenegro in there, this is one of those ones like on the periodic table of elements in chemistry. This could go either way. This could go in with the orange spice Amari, or this could come in with the cola Amari. This is kind of like one of those transcending, right? Interchangeable. It could kind of go with either one. And it's so versatile. So this one is cola, orange, and spice, right? You're getting all three of those in this. Okay, Cynar 70. This is one of the first ones that I reviewed on this channel. I actually got this as a Christmas present, and kudos to that person who gave it to me. They know who they are, but wow, it just completely opened the door so that every other video in this series of libations could basically happen. Like I cannot express that enough. Cynar 70 is an artichoke kind of Amari, right? Amari plural. But again, you're getting that Kinoto flavor. You're getting that bitter orange peel and cola flavor. Unsweetened root beer, unsweetened cola, you know, more on the unsweetened Pepsi side than the root beer side. But then you're also getting a little bit of vegetal kind of notes. In the background, you're kind of getting a little bit of like herbal. What do I mean by that? Rosemary, sage, thyme, like a little bit of those maybe middle mountain, chaparral desert kind of notes in there. Okay, moving forward. And this is more on the bitter side too, by the way. So bitter, bitter, bitter. This one's a little bit maybe on the sweeter, closer to like a 50-50, kind of a sweet to bitter, but still bitter. Okay, then this to me, the Lazzaroni would be like the best in class. I love all of these, but like if you think about it, it would kind of be like little baby, middle baby, kind of older baby, and then this would be like the oldest child within that family in terms of like children, right? But this one is the one that went off to college and worked for 5 years. You know, this is the one that's the more like advanced, educated. I can't explain it, but Lazzaroni to me is the perfect balance of, it's just a touch. We're talking like 52% bitter, 48% sweet, but it's a good balance between bitter and sweet. Whereas the Cynar is maybe like 70% bitter and maybe 30% sweet. The CioCiaro or CioCiaro is kind of like, It's hard to explain. It's kind of like sweet and bitter, almost like a 50-50. And then this one is just a touch more bitter. Like it obviously says bitter on the bottle, but this one is maybe something like, I would say maybe 55 or 60% bitter to maybe 35 or 40% sweet. By the way, the CioCiaro, if I don't make a mistake, is 30% alcohol by volume. This one is 35% alcohol by volume. This one is 25% alcohol by volume. So anyways, the Lazzaroni to me is kind of the most well-balanced of all of them. It's very cola forward, unsweetened Pepsi, unsweetened root beer, that kind of vibe. You're getting some woodsy in there, right? You're getting, in a percentage of 100, you're getting like maybe 10, 20, even 30% of like bark and roots and that kind of vibe, like those kind of herbs and herbal kind of notes and all that. And then subtly, this is like another one of those transition ones. Subtly here, in a percentage of 100, you're getting like 1% or even less of like very good tasting sweet spearmint. Whereas like a Fernet Branca would be like 4 or 5 over, like once you start getting into the Fernet realm. But once you start getting into the Fernet realm, Fernet Branca is like menthol, peppermint, eucalyptus, right? That kind of more bright, abrupt kind of mint. This, on the other hand, the Lazzaroni is a very sweet, pleasant tasting mint. And it's so subtle. It's so subtle. To compare this with Fernet Branca is two totally different things. 180 almost of each other, like 170 of each other. Because this is not a pine Amaro in any way, shape, or form. This is in a percentage of 100, this is like, if you had to explain it in those terms, this is like 90% cola, unsweetened root beer. That's kind of what this tastes like. But anyways, within that flavor profile of 100%, like going back to the original flavor profile, I would say maybe you're getting 5%, somewhere around there. The percentages keep changing, by the way, video to video, because I keep picking up more and more notes and stuff. But I would say maybe there's 5% of like good woodsy spice. Like you're getting sweet Ceylon cinnamon. You're getting maybe some clove, maybe some cardamom, maybe some allspice in there. It tastes good. It's a very pleasant tasting kind of woodsy spice kind of a note to it. There's hardly any citrus in here. Like you do get a little bit of that bitterness, which I think it's probably not coming from the Kinoto or the orange peel. Maybe it is, I don't know. But it is so well balanced that it's just almost perfect. It's almost like a perfect 11 out of 10. But anyways, if I was going to do a flight of these, this is kind of the order that I would go in. I would go in with this first as like a bitter aperitivo, right? Just to kind of get the appetite going, maybe with the first course. Then I would do something like this where you're getting that orange and spice with cola kind of vibe to it, to kind of maybe appetizer round or maybe like the first course round. Then what I would do is I would go to the Cynar, which is bitter, because it kind of stimulates the appetite all over again, maybe with like a pasta course or maybe a meat course, fish, chicken, meat, red meat, ribeye, braised beef ribs, that kind of vibe. And then this is definitely a dessert. I mean, you could do this as an aperitivo, but oh, how luscious this is with the last course or even after the last course. It's got that perfect, well-capped, end of the night kind of a vibe. In case you were curious, Averna, where does Averna fit in here? Averna is kind of like the coffee realm, coffee hazelnut realm of the Amaro. I would put that kind of like over here. But again, it's that periodic table of elements in chemistry. It's like once you start getting into this, like the Lazzaroni, this could go either way too, the same way that the CioCiaro could go. Like let's say you went this way and you did the citrus spice thing. With this one, you could go either this way and do like the pine, start getting into the Fernet realm. You could also go back and start doing the Averna coffee hazelnut realm. It's just, that's what makes all of these Amari, right? Amari plural. That's what makes them all so special, is that depending on which one you get, and depending on what you have it with, whether it's pre-dinner, post-dinner, during dinner, or literally the type of dish that you make with it, it could go in so many different directions, especially when you find a good, well-balanced one that could kind of go coffee realm, alpine realm, minty realm. It could go into the cola realm, which is what you see here. So stay tuned. I'm going to do one more video about those transitional kind of Amari. I thought this was going to be the last one, but I'm going to do one more, and I'll catch you all in the next exciting video.